Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about, and this is currently my second video of the day. So I am going to be giving you an update on Marcus Rashford's injury, also going to be giving you some more additional information on Alexis Sanchez. I'm going to be talking with you a bit more about Jadon Sancho, because I do believe if Manchester United sign him, he will be, a very, very good signing, and he will be a great addition to the squad. If recent reports are to be believed, then, it's looking very, very imminent, we are going to sign Jadon Sancho. So let's delve into the news on Marcus Rashford. So Marcus Rashford has come out and he said, he's finding it very difficult to train at home on the coronavirus lockdown, because obviously Marcus Rashford told the United podcast that his preference is to train in the training ground. But yeah, he has been training at home. Marcus Rashford, of course, wants to regain full fitness. Rashford has been out with a back injury since, I think, is it the 14th or the 15th of January. The last game I think he did play was our game against Wolves. That's when he actually sustained his back injury, and like I mentioned before, Solskjaer had made the wrong decision by playing Rashford in that game, because if he hadn't played Rashford in that game, then more than likely his injury wouldn't have occurred. But analysing it anyway, Rashford sustained quite a few injuries so far during his Manchester United career, and up until this point, Rashford has spent the entirety of his career with the football club. But it did say after this, coronavirus lockdown and that, Rashford will be back in full training. So too will Paul Pogba, and like I mentioned, Rashford and Paul Pogba have been big misses throughout the course of this season. Now, obviously, Rashford's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. And I think, since he broke into our senior squad, he has become an integral part of the team. Don't get me wrong, he's endured some difficult spells as a Manchester United player. But I think, before his injury occurred, he was one of our best players earlier on in the season, was Marcus Rashford. I think this season he's got, 19 goals in 31 appearances. He's got over 60-odd senior goals in all competitions in just over 200 appearances. I think that's what it is. Don't forget, Marcus Rashford scored on his Europa League debut against Midtjylland. I think this was back under Louis van Gaal era. He scored on his Europa League debut twice, that is. He also scored twice on his Premier League debut against Arsenal. Don't forget, he also scored in his first Manchester derby. If I'm right, didn't he score on his international debut as well? So yeah, Rashford, is definitely, one of our best players. I've also been reading recent reports, and it actually, says that Rashford could consider getting his role changed. Because Rashford can play as a number 9, and he can also play out wide. I think actually, Solskjaer prefers Rashford out wide, to be quite honest with you. But I've got to give Rashford a lot of credit, because I think, a lot of aspects of his game have really, really improved. He is only at the age of 22, is Marcus Rashford. He's only at the age of 22. Now, also, he has been doing charity work, by the way, so he has raised around £20 million as Marcus Rashford, so that's really, really good. He's also come out as well and said, he had ups and downs under the Jose Mourinho era, but, reflecting on that, Rashford said, that's improved him as a player. Now, of course, Jose Mourinho endured 2.5 years at Manchester United. Of course, he won the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season at Old Trafford. I think he also got a second place in his first season at the club, and I think that's the highest we've finished second since the Alex Ferguson era. But I already give you the main explanations why it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era, because obviously, he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with a lot of the top players. Like I mentioned, we didn't get the best out of Rashford under Mourinho. Martial, enjoyed a difficult time under him, so too did Paul Pogba. Fred never really got his opportunities in that. And you can basically say, Jose Mourinho didn't get all the players that he wanted to recruit in. Despite the fact that I did recommend around 11 players in Jose Mourinho, and I think he spent around £400 million, was it, or just under £400 million on players and that. But yeah, so Rashford's basically said he had ups and downs under Mourinho, but he's credited Mourinho because, he said it's improved him as a player, with his past experience. He also, thrived very, very well under the Louis van Gaal era, did Marcus Rashford and that. So these are some of the stuff, you know, he has come out and said. So when he is back into the team, you know, that will be very, very good news, without a shadow of a doubt. And like I updated you this morning, with the news on Harry Kane and that, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said he's happy, you know, if we don't spend £200 million, if we don't spend 200 million on Harry Kane. And I think he's given around 2 or 3 main explanations, you know, why, you know, he's not really interested in Man United signing Kane, because obviously, you know, Solskjaer believes Rashford is as good as Harry Kane. Also, you know, if we were to sign like Harry Kane, you know, then Mason Greenwood, you know, could find game time very, very difficult. Obviously, you know, Mason Greenwood's in his first season in the senior squad. Well, his first full season in the senior squad. And got to give him a lot of credit, you know, because I think he has been a revelation as Mason Greenwood. You know, he can play as a number 9 and he can also play on the right. He's seldom played in the Premier League this season, Mason Greenwood. He tends to start more in the cup games, but going on into next season, I think, you know, Mason Greenwood should get more opportunities, because Mason Greenwood's definitely, you know, one of the players, you know, that is the long-term future for Manchester United. And I just think the other reason is that, you know, £200 million is a hell of a lot of money for Harry Kane, and a lot of people believe, you know, that he isn't worth £200 million. Like I said to you on my recent videos, our transfer budget, well, we're planning to reduce our transfer budget, obviously, you know, due to the financial impact on the coronavirus crisis. So maybe, you know, won't be able to afford Harry Kane anyway, but he isn't worth £200 million. You know, like I said, there's been other strikers on our agenda that are much cheaper solutions than Harry Kane. I still think, you know, want to try and get a centre forward in when the transfer market does reopen, because obviously, you know, last summer Romelu Lukaku left the football club. I think Inter Milan paid around 72 million, so we almost, you know, recouped, you know, the 75 million pounds that we paid for him from Everton back in 2017, but we didn't get that replacement for Romelu Lukaku last summer. Obviously, you know, we've got a Gala as well. Got to say, you know, he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career as Odin Ighalo. You know, 4 goals in 3 starts. Good cover up to Rashford. Obviously, you know, we're paying like a third of his wages at the moment. It remains uncertain, you know, yet whether we're going to get Odin Ighalo permanently. But he did say a couple of weeks ago, you know, we'll only have to pay around £15 million to get Odin Ighalo on a permanent transfer. So, there you go. It did say the other week that Odin Ighalo will have to take around the £200,000 pay cut to remain at Manchester United. Probably more than likely we'll extend his loan due to the coronavirus pandemic, because his current loan spell at Man United ends on the 31st of May. And, you know, we're planning, you know, to extend it until the 30th of June. But Solskjaer did give his overture view on this, and he said it's likely, you know, that Man United will get Odin Ighalo on a permanent transfer. So, yeah, Kane at Manchester United now. He's dead in the water. Even though it was the reports that have been coming out recently, though, were totally contrast to the ones that were coming out before, because it was saying before, like, you know, we wanted to get Harry Kane. You know, Real Madrid are no longer in for him now. These are what, you know, the reports were saying. Obviously, you know, Man City and Juventus have also been in for the play. And even Kane did reveal his preference would be moved to Manchester United if he was to leave Tottenham. But you know the outcome anyway, you know what's going on with Harry Kane. Manchester United will not sign him because, like I said, you know, we won't sign Sancho and Kane, because if we did, that would cost us around £320 million or something like that, and Manchester United won't be able to afford that, so nah, it won't happen. Now, let's delve into the news on Alexis Sanchez. So, the news is on Alexis Sanchez. Now, his international manager, who is obviously, you know, the Chilean manager, you know, he's come out and give his verdict on Alexis Sanchez, and he's basically said that he's endured a very, very difficult time at Inter Milan. And he also endured a very, very difficult time at Manchester United, because he endured around 18 months with Manchester United, did Alexis Sanchez. But he basically, you know, said he basically said this, yeah, you know, he's endured a very, very difficult time, and that as Alexis Sanchez, but he's had, you know, he's had a torturous year and stuff like that. But he believes, does the Chilean manager, you know, that Sanchez will rejuvenate himself. You know, he believes he'll rediscover his form, you know, what he produced at Arsenal and Barcelona, you know, because don't forget Sanchez enjoyed a good 3.5, 4 years with Arsenal. He also, you know, played under Pep Guardiola's guidance when he was younger at Barcelona. So he believes he will rediscover his form. Now, reports were coming out quite a few weeks ago saying that Sanchez is expected to come back to Manchester United after his loan spell with Inter Milan. Because obviously, you know, we let him go on loan to Inter Milan last summer. Despite the fact that he's on loan at Inter Milan, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. I still believe we're paying Sanchez around 300 grand a week. And Inter Milan are paying like the other £100,000 a week, because Sanchez's wages at Man United are 400 grand a week, rising up to £500,000 a week with the image rights and the bonuses. Yeah, £500,000 a week. And I said, you know, his wages were having a really bad effect on the football club. But the main explanation, like I said, why he's set to come back to Man United is because he's refusing to take a pay cut, and no team can afford to pay his wages off. And he says Sanchez will see out the remainder of his contract, because he's under contract with Man United until 2022. You know, Solskjaer did say back in January Sanchez would come back to prove everybody wrong. So probably he's going to be given a second chance at Manchester United. But in the 18 months, you know, Sanchez made 45 appearances for us in all competitions and only managed 5 goals. We got him back in January 2018 as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal. Swap deals are very, very rare in the modern game. If I can remember rightly, I think there was a fee involved as well. And obviously, you know, Sanchez didn't live up to expectations at Manchester United as we all thought he would have done, because when we signed him, we thought he'd have been an exceptional signing, you know, because, you know, he did really, really well at Arsenal. You know, his versatility is very, very good, but he is predominantly a number 7. So, yeah, revert back to what I said. That's stemming from his international manager and that, you know, he said, you know, he's had a very, very difficult year. But, you know, he believes that Sanchez, you know, will rejuvenate himself. Don't forget, you know, he's also had quite a few injuries. I think he's had an ankle injury at Inter Milan. So that's made his appearances limited in the Serie A. I think he's only started like 2 games in the Serie A as the player. But if you ask the vast majority of Manchester United fans, they wouldn't want Sanchez back. You know, we've got to try and get rid of him, you know, on a permanent transfer. If he won for his substantial wages, then I think, you know, we would have got rid of him on a permanent transfer. So, you know, that's the news on Alexis Sanchez. So, let's now delve into the news on Jadon Sancho. I have been keeping you up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho on a regular basis. So, I think Jadon Sancho will be a very, very good signing for Manchester United. I've got the same perception, you know, as Jamie Redknapp, because Jamie Redknapp's give his overarching view on it, and he believes, you know, he can handle himself, you know, at Manchester United. If he comes in, he can handle playing at Manchester United, and he just believes he'll be a good signing for Manchester United, does Jamie Redknapp. Now, I think the couple of beneficial things about Manchester United recommending Jadon Sancho in is that obviously, you know, he's got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. Also, too, he's well proven in the Premier League, because don't forget, you know, before Jadon Sancho was at Borussia Dortmund, he was at Manchester City. So he's played in Manchester before as well. He enjoyed 2 years at Manchester City, Jadon Sancho. But obviously, you know, due to limited appearances, he had to leave Manchester City to join Borussia Dortmund. Before he was at City, he was at Watford. So he actually, you know, began his playing career in London. He was at Watford for several years, was Jadon Sancho and that. So, you know, they're the couple of beneficial things about recommending him in. And Jadon Sancho's a player that can create chances. He can score goals. His runs on and off the ball are very, very good. And, he, you know, he just would dramatically improve us. If we was to only sign Jadon Sancho when the transfer market reopens, it'd be good, but it still wouldn't be enough for Manchester United. You know, one player wouldn't be enough, you know, for us to go on to challenge for the title, you know, next season and stuff like that. Because I've already said to you, know, I think Man United need around 4 signings when the transfer market reopens, you know, to challenge for the league next season. And they have got to be the right calibre players. But, you know, recent reports have come out and said that, you know, Jadon Sancho at Man United is a done deal. We've agreed the personal terms and that with the player. It says everything's been agreed except the fee. So Manchester United basically need to come to an agreement on a fee with Borussia Dortmund. You know, Borussia Dortmund, don't forget, I've said, you know, they want at least £100 million, you know, or £120 million. But either figure is going to make him a record signing in the Premier League, and it's going to make him our most expensive signing and most expensive British player in history and that. But I think we're willing to meet what Borussia Dortmund are demanding. So it recently said from the mainstream media that the length of Sancho's contract, his salary, his bonuses and his huge buyout clause has all been agreed. So all we need to do now is come to an agreement on a fee. We have been working on Jadon Sancho's contract for a couple of months, I think. We've also been in negotiations with his agent for like a couple of months. I think Fabrizio Romano broke out that news, was it 3 or 4 weeks ago? Or maybe even longer than that. And Fabrizio Romano, you know, is a very reliable Italian journalist. But obviously, you know, it came out last week, like I updated you, if you do remember rightly. It said, you know, if Jadon Sancho was to reject a move to the Premier League and he was to remain loyal to Dortmund, it said Dortmund were willing to offer him a new contract worth around £165,000 a week, which I think equates to around, is it £4 million per season, something like that. But this is what, you know, they was willing to offer Jadon Sancho. So they was basically, you know, willing to give him a pay rise, and they was willing to make Jadon Sancho their second highest paid player, just behind Marco Reus. Don't forget, it said last year that Dortmund, you know, inquired about Mason Greenwood, you know, getting Mason Greenwood in a swap deal, you know, for Sancho. So there was talks that they was going to sell Sancho, you know, and try and get Mason Greenwood in. But obviously, you know, we've got no intentions of letting Mason Greenwood go. Now, obviously, it says that Jadon Sancho could reject a move to Manchester United if we fail to qualify for the Champions League. Because obviously, you know, we was relentlessly linked with Jadon Sancho last year, but we didn't get him last year because we had no Champions League football and that to offer. So this is what it had basically said. But, you know, there hasn't only been us in for him. Like I said, you know, Chelsea have been in for him. Like, you know, he revealed, you know, Jadon Sancho is a lifelong Chelsea supporter. I think he ruled himself out, though, of making a move to Chelsea. Liverpool were in for him. I don't think they're, you know, in for Jadon Sancho now. Madrid were in for him, but Madrid have now pulled out of the race. But yeah, he's already revealed that his preference is a move to Manchester United. But, you know, Borussia Dortmund, you know, will make a huge profit on the player, because Borussia Dortmund only paid £7 or £8 million for him from Manchester City. So they'll make a good profit on the player. And, you know, he's still got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. He's predominantly a right winger. And obviously, you know, Manchester United do want to get a right winger in. But I just think he'd be a great addition to the squad. And we're known for overpaying for players anyway, so it wouldn't surprise me if we paid over 100 million for Sancho. I said the same sort of thing with Kane. I wouldn't be surprised if we paid 200 million, but I'd just be very, very sceptical that we'd pay that much for him. But, you know, like I said, we've overpaid for players. 75 for Lukaku, 89 million for Pogba. Obviously, you know, Sancho will be our most expensive player if we get him, and Pogba will be our second, but Pogba is our most expensive at the moment. 50 million for Fred. 40 million for Matic, 80 million pounds for Harry Maguire. So we are definitely, you know, known for overpaying for players, and, you know, our recruitment policy has been poor for the last 6-7 years or so. It's been very, very poor, and, you know, we have been criticised for this. But I've got to say, under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, you know, we have improved in the transfer market. What I mean is we have been a bit more sensible with our recruitment and stuff like that. And Solskjaer, of course, has enjoyed 3 transfer windows at Manchester United so far. Didn't recommend anyone in his first transfer window, but in the 2 previous transfer windows, he has recruited 5 players in and spent around £220 million at the football club. As you all know, Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United like he did do last summer. And a lot of people, you know, do like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy. But, it did say, you know, didn't it, you know, I think I've just read it in this expression, you know, us signing Sancho, though, could be bad news for James. Because, you know, Daniel James could find game time very, very difficult. I've got to say, Daniel James has done really, really well for Man United. You know, we got him last summer from Swansea for around £15 million. Add-ons included around £17-18 million. But we've overplayed Daniel James this season. You know, this is why he's been fatigued, because we've played him so much. I think he's played over 30-odd games this season for the club in all competitions. Because Daniel James can play on the left and he can also play on the right. you know, you tend to see the best of him on the left-hand side. But, you know, I've given Daniel James a hell of a lot of credit. It could be bad news for Chong as well, because don't forget, Chong's a winner. Chong's a winner. I don't know if he is the long-term future for Manchester United. I know he's going to be staying with us now because he's obviously signed a 2-year contract, you know, with an option of a further year and that. I think maybe we should have tried loaning Chong out, to be quite honest with you, but we will see what happens. But I think Sancho, 80% is coming to Manchester United when the transfer market does reopen and that, you know, and stuff like that. But obviously, you know, due to, you know, the financial difficulties in that, you know, it could affect, you know, quite a lot of teams' transfer business, because a lot of teams are under financial pressure across the world due to this coronavirus pandemic. But I like what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said the other week, because, you know, he says, you know, when the transfer market reopens, we will exploit the transfer market. And, you know, he believes, you know, we can get the right calibre players in when the transfer market does reopen. You know, he's already identified the areas where he does want to strengthen up. You know, he said, I want a centre forward, I want a right winger, and I want a midfielder. There's still some reports emerging out saying that he wants a centre half. I don't think Man United will sign a centre half when the transfer market reopens, because we've got too many centre halves in the team. You've got Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof that are our first choice centre halves. You've got Bay and Tuanzebe that are our backup centre halves. You've obviously got Fosu Mensah that can play as a centre half. I don't think he's predominantly a centre half, but he can play as a centre half. You've obviously, you know, got Rojo. He's obviously on loan, but, you know, he's like our 6th choice centre half. You've got Jones, he's our 5th choice centre half, I think, and, you know, he's one of the players that's expected to go. If it was to get, like, you know, rid of Jones, Rojo and Smalling, then maybe it could be beneficial recommending a centre half in, but I just don't think Manchester United will, because there's more priority areas in the squad that do need to be addressed. So let's just put that into the equation. But I think there's a total of like 14, is it 15 players on our agenda. But the question is, you know, what players, you know, will Manchester United sign? And that. Obviously, you know, Saul Niguez, you know, he's been another player on Manchester United's agenda. I've just been reading recent reports about Saul Niguez, and he actually, you know, says for us to get Saul Niguez on the board, we've got to pay his full release clause in his Atletico Madrid contract. And his full release clause, I think it's around 132 or is it 133 million pounds or something like that. So that's the only way Atletico Madrid will offload him, if we're willing to pay that amount. So yeah, I'm very, very sceptical that we'll pay that for Saul Niguez. We're basically, you know, seeing him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. It said when Atletico Madrid played Liverpool in the Champions League that we'd secretly scouted Saul Niguez. This is what it had said. And it said we're willing to pay £70 million for him, which is around half than what they want Madrid. And it said the other week we was willing to offer him a deal worth nearly 200 grand a week. His current salary at Atletico Madrid is around £115,000 a week. But we've actually not been long admirers of Saul Niguez. Saul Niguez has spent the vast majority of his career with Atletico Madrid. You know, I think he's now into his 12th season with Atletico Madrid, and he's nearly made 300 appearances for them in all competitions. Got a long-term contract with them, hasn't he? You know, he signed a 9-year contract back in 2017, did the player. Can play as a centre-half and can also play as a holding midfielder. I think when he was younger, he was predominantly a centre-half with Saul Niguez. But if he was to come in, do you think he'd complement our midfield very, very well? Well, look, we're in search for a holding midfielder, basically. Obviously, you know, I've recently kept you up to date of what's been going on with Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish now looks dead in the water to Man United, if recent reports are to be believed, because don't forget, Ed Woodward did say he prefers to get a holding midfield, you know, rather than get Jack Grealish in. We know how much Jack Grealish will roughly cost us, you know, probably in the 70-odd or 80-odd million pound range. It recently said Everton have been in for Grealish, so too of Newcastle. I think a lot of people, to give you the news, what's been going on with Newcastle, obviously, you know, they've got the Saudi Arabians in. So they are now the richest owners in the Premier League. I just want to confirm. But yeah, Newcastle have expressed their interest in Jack Grealish. So maybe, you know, now Man United won't sign Jack Grealish. I can assure we won't sign James Maddison, because he insists his future is with Leicester, and he's very, very happy with Leicester, so we won't be signing James Maddison. Donny van der Beek, you know, who was in for him, was it last week, from Ajax. Madrid have been in for him. Obviously, you know, this morning on my last video I did, you know, I give you the news I give you the news on João Felix from Atletico Madrid. It says this was stemming from League 10 Sport. They said we'd expressed an interest in João Felix and we'd had internal negotiations with his super agent George Mendes. And stuff like that over a possible move. But we'd only go in for João Felix if we missed out on Jadon Sancho. I think we inquired about João Felix's availability last summer, but obviously, we didn't get him on the board. There was a few clubs that were in for João Felix. Atletico Madrid did pay quite a lot of money for him. They paid £113 million in from Benfica last summer. So he's like the 4th most expensive player in the world. He's got a contract with Atletico Madrid until 2026 as João Felix. Because when he signed for Madrid, he signed a 7-year deal. But he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time in Spain. But I'm very, very sceptical that Atletico Madrid will do any business with a player because it's only his first season in Spain. He was very, very good at Benfica though. He only enjoyed 1 season in the senior squad with Benfica. But he did win the title in his first season with Benfica. Also scored a lot of goals. Also too, he got the best player of the year. So I think he's won some individual awards as the player. João Felix is only at the age of 20. His versatility is also good. Can play as an attacking mid, a winger, striker and a secondary striker. So there were reports that were coming out this morning and I think, there was coming out yesterday. So which players, should Manchester United sign? Do let me know in the comments below. We're expected to get rid of around, like I mentioned, 5 or 6 players when the transfer window reopens. Obviously, this morning I give you the news, didn't I? Of what players, I think should stay and what players should go. I think Jones will go. I think Lingard will go. I think Pereira will go. I think we'll probably get rid of Smalling permanently. We'll also get rid of Rojo permanently. We'll probably try as hard as, to get rid of Alexis Sanchez permanently. So, yeah. But we have got rid of a lot of the deadwood, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in. A total of like 9 players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in, which is very, very good. But like I mentioned, it is a transition period. And it's been a transition period for a long time. But Solskjaer is hopeful, that we can get through this transition period because he revealed this at the beginning of the year. I think definitely, Solskjaer, will be given another season at Manchester United. Definitely be given another season. Even if we weren't to qualify for the Champions League, I still think he'd be given another season at the football club. Yeah, because sometimes, it takes some managers time to settle in. But he does deserve at least another season. I think he deserves at least a couple of more transfer windows, to build, the next great Manchester United team. Solskjaer wants to build a team, he wants to build a team, like, the team we had under Alex Ferguson and stuff like that. So you can see what Solskjaer is trying to implement at the football club. But he's been here 16 months. He's been permanent Manchester United manager for a year. Like I said, I credit Solskjaer, with the way he's promoted the youth, because he's promoted the youth very, very well. The young players have been given their chances, such as Greenwood, he's done well. Brandon Williams, he's done well. The lot, he's had a few injuries this season, so don't have a perception on him. Garner did well in the games he played in. He should get more opportunities next season. Tuanzebe, he's another one. Chong, he should get more opportunities next season. Gomez, he should get more opportunities. That's providing he does sign a new contract. Also, too, Solskjaer's approach to the big games this season have been very, very good. Because I think we've registered like 17 points against the big 6 sides this season. It hasn't been so good, though, against lower opposition. I still don't think Solskjaer knows his best formation as yet. I think this is something, he does need to address. On a regular basis this season, Solskjaer's been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation. But I think, we look more expansive with that 3-5-2 formation. I think a lot of the time when he was the interim manager in that 3-month period, he went with a 4-3-3 formation, did Solskjaer. Like I said, before the football season was suspended, we was in a good run of form. Because we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions and stuff like that. And we can win some silverware this season. We can win the FA Cup, we're into the quarterfinals. We can win the Europa League, we are into the last 8. So yeah, we can win some silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But I still don't know if he is the long-term future for Manchester United. Solskjaer. And, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, you know, we've been playing catch-up for the last 6 or 7 years. You know, we've had different managers with different philosophies, and nearly £1 billion has been spent at the football club on recruiting new players in the last 6 or 7 years. You know, we have recruited over 30-odd players in since the Ferguson era, you know, including, you know, the players that we've brought in so far under Solskjaer. But, yeah, and Man United, you know, haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. But, yeah, 3 managers have gone since the Alex Ferguson era. We haven't dominated football since the Alex Ferguson era because, you know, Ferguson endured 26, 27 years at Manchester United. He had 20-odd years of success, one of the greatest managers of all time. You know, didn't win out in his first 4 years, though, Alex Ferguson, when we first recommended him in. But look what he went and accomplished after that 4 years of not winning anything. You know, we won the vast majority of our silverware under Ferguson. He developed a hell of a lot of young players and stuff like that. I don't think Solskjaer will replicate Ferguson's legacy, but, you know, we just want to be back at being competitive, and, you know, that's what, you know, we want to do. Like I said, you know, we've enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. And, yeah, so Solskjaer, you know, does deserve more time at the football club. His record has been disastrous since he got the job permanently. Let's not forget that. But if it doesn't work out next season, that's when I would get rid of him. You know, obviously, you know, Ed Woodward, there's been a lot of issues with him for several years. He's obviously, you know, been doubting the club's ownership, the Glazers, because I think they've taken over £1 billion out of the club, you know, since they came in. So the good news is Ed Woodward is no longer involved in our recruitment process. So that is a positive you can take. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.